Hello everyone, welcome to Daily Anime Talk, where I'm finally back looking at all the anime I'm watching. I finally got a new laptop and a microphone, so it's going to hopefully be a lot better editing and sound-wise. But the new season's just started up, so I'm in the full swing of watching all the new stuff. And the stuff I'm going to be talking about today is the stuff from Saturday and Sunday just gone. So the first thing I watched was Aharen-san, episode 2. Raido helps Aharen use some eye drops, but feels like he's being watched, and feels like this all day, eating lunch, in class, or even on the toilet. Raido finally discovers the person watching him is Aharen's childhood friend, Oshiro, who is scared to approach Raido. She continues to observe from afar. Raido comes to school with his fly down, and Aharen spends the whole day trying to tell Raido and protect his dignity. He only finds out when he gets home, and he realises what she was trying to say. The last part of the episode, Oshiro keeps trying to give Aharen her umbrella, because she thinks she forgot hers. Eventually, Aharen and Oshiro walk home together, and Aharen thanks Oshiro for walking home with her every day, even if from a distance. Finally, Raido finds out that Aharen is really good at board game Reversi. So, it's fun. This more or less just a school slice of life between Raido and Aharen. It's very cute, very fun to watch because they're both very socially awkward. Raido thinks he's scary to be around and doesn't really like to talk much, but he's starting to get along with Aharen, who's a bit socially awkward as well. She doesn't know how to distance herself. She gets too close to people. She's really quiet around everyone, so they're becoming close and trying to get to know each other a bit more, and it's just an enjoyment to watch them get to know each other and how Aharen's friends are going to start getting involved. And I don't know if Raido has any friends in school with him from before, but hopefully we get to meet a bigger group of people, and then they get a big old group of friends who are brought together through this wholesome series that we're watching. But overall, I'm enjoying it so far, and hopefully it continues down that way. Even if it is very sectioned parts of the episode, there's no overarching story so far. But it's just fun, the little segmented bits. Okay, and then the next thing I watched was In the Heart of Kunoichi Tsubaki. It was episode 1. Tsubaki is tasked with bringing back her teammates Asagao and Sazanka, who have gone to see the male ninjas who are training in the mountains. This Kunoichi school knows nothing of men and makes rumours and jokes, while the teacher tells them to not underestimate the men. Tsubaki brings Asagao and Sazanka back, but run into the male group but run away. While the rest of the girls joke about men, Tsubaki is interested in love but isn't sure why. The next day they all train, and every time men are mentioned, Tsubaki can't focus, and Asagao and Sazanka are worried and test to see why she reacts like this. There is no conclusion, as Tsubaki either messes up or overdoes her attacks, so no answers are found. It was an okay first episode. It's interesting to see how all these girls have never met boys or men before and just think they're slobs. And in the background of the mountains, when they went to find them, Tsubaki saw an outline of someone, but we have no idea who that is. I imagine it's probably the male teacher. But it should be fun with Tsubaki. She's interested and wants to meet boys, so it could be a fun misunderstanding kind of show. They're like, oh, who are you? And it's could be quite a fun love story at the end of it. But I imagine everyone's going to start meeting the other groups, the men will meet the girls and the girls will meet the boys, and then it'll be kind of constant misunderstandings, because I can imagine this kind of comedy being quite funny with this kind of show. But yeah, for an episode 1 it was alright, so hopefully it continues down that way, and all the other episodes are quite fun to watch. Okay, and then the next thing I watched was Shikimori's Not Just a Cutie, episode 1. We meet the main couple, Uzumi and his girlfriend Shikimori. Izumi is very accident prone, and throughout the episode, Shikimori is constantly saving him and looking out for him. While everyone only sees her cute side, Izumi notices how cool she is. She protects him from all things from border races and newspapers to vans and falling signs. After the first day back in school, they meet up with their friends to go bowling. After Izumi cheers Shikimori on, she scores a perfect game. After multiple accidents, and Shikimori saving Izumi, he shouts how much he loves her, and how cool she is. She gets all embarrassed and they walk home together. This is another pretty much standard slice of life, except it's kind of the reverse where the girl Shikimori is more of the protector for Izumi, so that was kind of a fun reverse story beat. So that could be quite fun because everyone sees her as, oh, she's the cute girl and she's so pretty, and like, but we get to see her like courageous side, and she's like doing these flying hill kicks to signs that fall into Izumi, and it's cool to see from his perspective not just how cute she is, but she's also pretty much a badass. So I imagine it's going to be the story beats for the episodes, like, oh, everyone thinks she's cute, and then she'll do something courageous and save Izumi from something bonkers like a van accident or what it seemed to show might happen. So it should be fun. I imagine it's just going to be them going into romantic situations and then saving. So yeah, so that should be fun for the next series. Okay, and then the next thing I watched was Don't Hurt Me, My Healer, episode 1. We're introduced to Alvin, a warrior who is fighting a Magi beast and meets an elf, Carla. Carla is a healer and berates Alvin for not bowing before her when asking for help and healing. They continue arguing, and the bear Magi beast tries to break up their argument, to their surprise, seeing as the beast can speak. The bear accidentally injures Alvin, so invites him to her house to heal up. Through her weird use of voodoo straw dolls, Carla somehow heals Alvin. She thinks she ruined his face, but Alvin says it's the same. Carla backtracks, making a very scared reaction. Alvin and Carla continue arguing and eventually leave, but after realizing the nearest town is a day's trip away, they have no lodging, they return to the bear's house and stay the night. If I'm being honest, this was kind of a so-so first episode. I didn't really care for Alvin, and Carla's kind of just annoying at this point, and the bear was kind of just a weird addition. They spent most of the episode arguing. There wasn't really anything built, or there was no story really. It's just them meeting. I really hope this like the rest of the series builds a bit more and gets a bit more interesting, because they just argued the whole time, and I hope they meet some more characters and build up a squad of adventurers or something. Or I don't know. It's set in a fantasy world, so there's got to be something like a demon lord, or they've got to fight an evil wizard or something to make the overarching story a bit more compelling, instead of them just bickering about, oh, you're not being nice enough to me, I'm better than you, and all that stuff. So hopefully episode 2 gets a bit more interesting than just them arguing and not doing adventures properly. I don't know. But the next thing I watched was Trapped in a Dating Sim, episode 2. Leon has started his life at the school from the game and recognises all the main characters and even remembers some early events, but small details seem to be different from the game. Since he is now a baron because of his success from adventuring, Leon now has to get to grips with tea parties, even inviting a high-class classmate to join him, but she invites her friends along and could care less. Leon then runs into the protagonist from the game, Olivia, and they become quick friends. Leon even helps Olivia come to good terms with the antagonist from the game, Angelica. Leon and Olivia take part in a dungeon exploration class, and after some animal attacks, which they win, witness the prince becoming even closer to this unknown girl not from the game, Maria. Olivia heals Leon's wounds from the attack, but Leon is still confused about these changes and this new girl, Maria. I'm having a lot of fun with this. It's like another isekai show, which I'm always a big fan of. They're just fun. But it's a bit different because the main character, Leon, is this mob character. He's like the background character that you always see that's always in poor rendered detail in the shows. But we're following from his perspective, and we're seeing how the story from the game isn't completely carrying over. And it's interesting because at the end of the episode, this character Maria gave a very devious smile, and I've looked at people online and they think that could be another person that's reincarnated, or I don't know, it just could be the game is just completely changed, and at some point Leon's just going to have to realise that the game is nothing like this real world now, and he's going to have to fight on the fly and figure out new ways to get through this world. But overall, it was a fun second episode. It's setting up a possible villain for it, so hopefully it carries on in that fashion, and I can see Leon becoming good friends with Olivia and Angelica, as it does in the ED. Like, they seem to be a close-knit group, so hopefully that should carry on and be quite fun. Okay, and then the next thing I watched was The Executioner and Her Way of Life, episode 2. Menao, I think it's Manao. Manao arrives at the castle in the maid disguise and meets Akari. Through a long list of lies, convinces Akari to leave with her. While escaping, Manao kills her before things get out of hand. To Manao's surprise, Akari's ability allows her to rewind time and a fatal injury, but with no memory of what happened. Manao decides to take Akari to the church to decide on what to do now that Akari cannot die conventionally. Manao speaks with her master Orwell, who tells her to bring Akari to the main church to kill her with something they have for these kind of cases. Manao and Akari go to the train station to leave, and we get a glimpse into Manao's conflicting thoughts. We also meet this kingdom's princess, who is also setting off to the same city. They settle down for the trip, with Akari having no idea of what awaits her. Yeah, I had a good time with the second episode. Like after the first one, where we thought that main character, boy, was going to be the main person, but then he gets killed off straight away, pretty much. And we're like, oh, okay, it's not going to be one of those kind of shows, and it's completely flip flopped, and we get a new main character instead. But this girl's powers should be quite powerful because she can control time, and if it can save her injuries, maybe she can power up her abilities and even rewind time like weeks or who knows, years maybe. We just don't know the extent of it. So it could be fun to watch. I'm worried for her because the church seems to have this unstoppable weapon to kill people that even with these abilities can stop them. So that should be quite scary. But from what I've heard, this could get a bit romantic between these two characters. I'm not sure how because Manao seems to be very focused on killing pretty much everyone that comes from Japan. So it should be interesting to see how their relationship grows and I don't know, maybe friends or more. So yeah, that could be fun to see. And they're just on their train trip to the capital, and I imagine it's going to get a lot more scarier from there for Akari and Manao. Okay, and then the last episode I watched was Spy Family or Spy X Family. I'm not quite sure. I think it's Spy Family though. Episode 1. We meet one of the main characters, Lloyd. Twilight, his spy name, has just about to begin a new mission to take out an opposition leader who could sour country relations. The only means to get close to him is to have a family and enter a prestigious academy which he frequents. The first step is adopting a child which he finds. Her name is Anya, and she happens to also be a telepath. They spend the day together getting to know one another, and when Lloyd goes out, Anya uses his spy equipment and accidentally contacts the foreign agency and gets kidnapped. After dealing with some agents at the apartment, Lloyd rescues Anya and then returns to a new, more secure home. Anya then takes the entrance exam for the academy, which she passes after Lloyd spent all the time he could showing her what she needed to know. They then receive an invitation to Phase 2, but Anya and Lloyd now need to find Anya a mother for this mission to continue. Yeah, I watched this episode and it pretty much follows the first volume of the manga, pretty straightforward, and yeah, it was fun to watch because the every time like Lloyd's thinking in his head, like he's thinking some outrageous things like, oh, there's an enemy nearby, oh, I've got to set up these traps and stuff, and Anya's like, what, there's a spider, there's an enemy nearby, and he's acting strange around him all the time, and he's like, what are you doing? And it's just fun to watch their reactions against each other because they have no idea why they're both doing these things. It was fun to see them like get to know each other as well because Lloyd clearly has a bad backstory with a war, and he kind of understands Anya being left by whoever left her behind, which is seeming to be experiments, scientists, and all that. But yeah, it should be a quite good series overall. We're gonna meet the mother next in episode 2, and from what I've read, it's gonna be even more fun dynamic between them, as I believe she's an assassin. So that should be a good back and forth between Anya and her as well. So yeah, that's everything I watched from Friday to Sunday. I'm catching up with Kaguya-sama, and I'm on midway through season 2, so I should be up to date with that soon. And the Science Love one, I can't remember the full title, but I'll be catching up with that, and I'll be ready to continue watching that for this season. So yeah, that's everything I watched for this weekend, and I hope you enjoyed listening and watching along as well. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and put in the comment section if there's anything else I should be watching, because I'm going to try and catch up and watch as many shows as I can for these videos. But yeah, just make sure to leave any recommendations, and I will see you next time for future episodes.